Hello everyone, this is Here's Trivia. Welcome back to Season 4 of our subscriber game tournament as we continue here in Round 1 with Group B action. In our fourth match here, we have R1B4 on the green side versus M3ngDE on the red side. And looking at the composition for R1B4, we have Zhang Bao and Zhang Jiao, two of the three Yellow Turban brothers, and Xu Huang. So Zhang Bao is usually taken for the Yaoguai Hunter, which he has one here. And this is really a vision play because Yaoguai Hunter have extremely large detection radius and basically functions as a spotting unit to prevent any stock unit approaching you. And essentially this is a protection against Yanbai Hu. Then on Zhang Jiao, we have very excellent cavalry option here with the Messenger of Heaven. Their double unit size is their main strength. And getting 6 of these is like getting 12 cavalry units, and they're also very high in morale as well as damage. And with Zhang Jiao, he has the death play, which can give you the invincibility for 1 minute. And then finally on Xu Huang, we have some very cost-efficient Qingzhou infantry. Now there is a lack of spear unit in this composition, but maybe the overwhelming amount of cavalry can shore up this weakness. And then for M3ngDE on the red side, this is his third and final match in the group. He's so far 0-2, and we'll see if he can earn that difficult win to get him a chance at third place. And his composition here is themed. We have the Xiahou cousins, Xiahou Yuan and Xiahou Dun, and Yu Jin to round out this very Cao comp. And in terms of unit, once again, he's favoring these heavy units, which are cost prohibitive in my opinion. They're a little bit expensive and they're not as efficient as their regular counterpart. I think there's definitely sort of a unit efficiency issue with his comp throughout the tournament so far. Maybe he's not used to having this set funding for multiplayer battles, as most players don't really get to play multiplayer. For the Heavy and Tiger Cavalry, he upgraded them to level 5 and 6 across the board, and the remaining fund became 2 Archer Militia, which is a very interesting choice. And if I was going to get Archer Militia for this composition, I wouldn't recommend it because they have very low range, very, very low damage, and also very low morale and accuracy. They're pretty much just a nothing in this army, and you can ignore them. If you were going to get them, they should be on Yu Jin because Sentinel skills actually give you fire arrows, so that would have been slightly better. Now, looking at Xiahou Dun, we have the Heavy Spear Guard. It's a fine choice. They're slightly better than regular Spear Guard for a lot more money. But here, if you just had like that much money, then spending it on the slightly improved version is the better choice. Then on Yu Jin, we have 4 of the Qingzhou infantry to match Xu Huang's setup. Slightly less, but ranked up to tier 3. So basically 2 extra points of morale, 2 extra points evasion. Not really going to make a huge difference. Also 2 attack speed, I believe. I think if the upgrade funding was reshuffled, getting more Qingzhou infantry would have been better. Getting some Qingzhou infantry in terms of the Spear Guard would have been a better option than the Heavy Spear Guard. And perhaps the regular Tiger and Leopard would have been a better choice. And then some crossbows. Crossbows would have been better, but he's restricted by class, so he's going with Archer Militias. I just think Archer Militias are a really bad choice. They're just not going to do much, but maybe they'll prove me wrong. So let's see how it plays out on the battlefield. And taking a look at their deployment, things are pretty standard, with R1B4 deploying slightly to the right side, but still well within his deployment zone. And we have pretty standard deployment here with the infantry protecting the archers and then a couple cavalry to the side for M3ngDE. And let's see how this battle goes. Like, Yaoguai Hunter is going to have the 200 range. I mean, the Archer Militia just totally can be ignored. 180 range, low accuracy. Damage-wise, 22 base, 7 armor piercing. It's basically no damage. Now, it's worth noting, I believe Yaoguai Hunter's damage is low, but it's poison arrows, so it's mainly used to just spray onto the infantry and deal the poison damage. So it's 6 cavalry versus 3, but it's really 12 cavalry versus 3 in terms of sheer number, which is kind of crazy. Right, the infantry is trying to fight close to their cavalry. I think they should just actually go for a charge. The number's pretty in their favor. Maybe a little bit spread out will be better. Pulling the cavalry closer to the heavy shield guard or spear guard is a good idea. Where are they going? Right, there's nothing there. There's nothing to flank. I think Will Be Deed is finally convinced that he's just going to engage. Of these generals, Xu Huang has a splash ability. Let's see if he uses it. He uses the roar, but not the smash. Here comes the cavalry. They went away from their own spear, which was a mistake. They had it, you know, correct, but then they advanced. The other two pulled over here. So it's basically 12v1 at this point, maybe v2. Yeah, v2. And Yujin took a bit of too much charge. What is there to flank? The one spear unit, Zealot of the Way. I mean, he's moving, so at least he's gonna land some damage. Poison arrow's gonna hit these, hopefully. And the cavalry's coming in to help right away. Now they do activate their Zealot, what's it called? Misplaced Devotion, which makes them unbreakable for now. This is getting killed. They're gonna hunt these down. And then the generals can probably actually fight the enemy units at this point. So Yaogui Hunter gets destroyed. Yeah, the Flame Phoenix is going to be key here. He should actually get into the pile here and try to slam them. I mean, he did take out the Yaogui Hunters. It's just that I don't see them killing the cavalry. There's so many of them. 2 went to go clear that unit. 2 is staying on Xiahou Dun. 2 is staying on Xiahou Yuan. The Zealots took that charge. Yeah, being, you know, moving is like the worst thing you can do for your spear unit, but he had to kind of go to the flank to kind of side protect. Who's going to land the charge? They're going to charge each other. Okay. And then try to flank. Oh, the cavalry's coming back. Now, their Misplaced Devotion is already activated. At least these 2 units have, so they're not going to have it against them. That's a pretty key factor. The spear guards are slow, and they don't really have a target. The idea of having range and then spear guard to protect the range against potential cavalry is fine, but the range has to be strong, right? If you're running like Furies of Beihai, and then you have something that's slow and protective, it makes sense. If you have something like Archer Militia, which people can just ignore, then you're never going to catch the cavalry because they're never going to engage you. Right now, Will Be Deed just want to wipe out the generals, and then slowly use his own generals to kill off. Alright, they're moving again. But despite this, they're actually fending them off pretty nicely. There's not that much charge on these. After all, they are yellow cavalry, not red cavalry. Yeah, their misposition is almost over. If they could charge right after that, that would be beneficial. So Zhang Jiao used his active ability. This, I believe, can only be used once. But in this case, it's actually a good time to use it. You're going to loop around and kill these. Right? These are just super passive units. You're never catching cavalry with spear actively. Like, if they don't want to engage you, then you can't engage. You can bait them by putting your cavalry close, so when they overcharge, you engage them with your spear units. But if you pull your cavalry to the side, then they just basically are really slow moving and can't really do much. And these guys can't actually fight cavalry because despite the Z symbol, they're actually melee infantry. They don't counter cavalry. Right, they're 1 each on those. These guys bounce back. They gotta just get away from the spear guard. Spear guard's trying to have a flank, which is pretty nice. A roar has been used. We'll see if he can get rid of these. Their misplace is gone. They used it already. We have a dismount versus a mounted, so it should make pretty quick work. Now they can just fight this side, and the cavalry can clean up and just chase these down. Unit bouncing back. It's just spear guards now. Someone's going to be chasing that soon. I mean, everyone's focused on the fight here. Spear guards. I mean, right now it's not fair because their morale is being decimated due to nearby routing, generals dead, and soon army loss. But even without that, the damage, so heavy unit have the same weapon and damage as the non-heavy version. They just have better armor. And also better morale. So defensive stats higher, but offensive stats exactly the same, and you're kind of overpaying for defense. And that's it. So unfortunately for M3ngDE, there will be no wins in round 1, but congratulations, and also thank you for participating. Congratulations to M3ngDE securing his first win, because he got crushed by Folden's charging army, and this gives him a chance to advance, as he is our Season 2 champion. So looking at the results, the generals did their best, mainly damaging these 2 units here, and then helping out with some of the fighting. It wasn't a clean fight for either side. I think the first mistake was pulling the cavalry to the side and not baiting their cavalry to come in and make contact with the spear guard, which would be how you can utilize them. No one really targeted these guys until very late in the game, right? When these were done with the enemy cavalry, they came and killed them. And during that entire time where they were shooting, they got 2 kills. It's just a terrible use of funding to get something so weak and marginal that it just would do no damage to pretty much anything. Just think about all the units you have seen so far in multiplayer. Players typically pick at least either premium units or very cost-effective lower tier unit. And against either side of the spectrum, Archer Militia is just not going to do anything. It's a pretty fair fight between these. I think just numbers is one thing. Whether the generals can help is another thing. They went in and took out 2 units as misplaced devotion early with a charge, and that facilitated those routing first, but the other 4 was able to match with the generals coming in, with the cavalry coming in, and that sort of swung the fight there. So overall, pretty good fight, pretty balanced fight, but just how to use the units together, and also facing against technically 4 times the cavalry number. It's very difficult to win, even when your cavalry is slightly better than the enemy cavalry. So that's the result. Hope you guys enjoyed it. 2 more matches to round up Group B today, and stay tuned for those, and see you guys then. Bye!